What's going on, everybody? It's Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and you're tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB Podcast Series, where information is the new money. And my entrepreneurs and business owners can relate to this, those profit and loss statements. We got to keep track of the income that's being generated and the revenue that's coming in and the expenses that are going out on a regular basis to keep your business operating and your entrepreneurship journey afloat. Which is why we got to show love to those accountants, y'all, because they help keep all those things in order. Which is why yours truly, Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, currently recommends Strong Elm Business Solutions. I'm telling you, are you ready to elevate your business? Check out Strong Elm Business Solutions, your partner in growth and success. They specialize in tailored strategies that drive results, y'all, whether it's enhancing your chart of accounts, optimizing workflows, or providing top-notch business advice. Man, that came in handy for me getting my overall finances in order because Strong Elm Business Solutions are dedicated to empowering small and medium-sized enterprises with the tools they need to thrive in today's competitive market. From startup budgets to payroll and bookkeeping, Strong Elm Business Solutions are here to help. I'm telling you. Visit Strong Elm Business Solutions at strongelm.com and discover why they can help you achieve your business goals. Strong Elm Business Solutions are empowering strong clients for a stronger future. Yours truly, Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, will definitely attest to that, which is why you need to visit strongelm.com and give Strong Elm Business Solutions a call at 361-944-0122. That's 361-944-0122. You won't be disappointed on that. My name is Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and I approve this message. Y'all stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. And until next time, peace, love, and positive vibrations. Oh man, with that being said, what's going on, everybody? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB Podcast Series. This is your host, Clifton Pope, and I always say this every time that I come on to the podcast and I have a particular guest. It pays off who you know, it pays off who you're connected to. And I want to give a special shout out to a good friend, as far as like a common friend that me and the guest that I'm about to bring on have in common. I want to give a special shout out to my friend, Miss Jane Gregorio, for connecting me to this wonderful individual who I'm about to bring on. And I must tell you, she's definitely very passionate about what she does as far as just finding ways to create more healthier habits with a holistic approach, which is basically what I'm all about here at Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business. But overall, the person I'm about to bring on, she's just a special, shining, bright light within her own right. She's basically in tune with the yoga world. She's in tune with the Pilates world, bringing everything that she does from her original hometown based in Mexico here to the South Texas coastal bend region and just basically doing it in her own kind of way, I would like to say. And if you're familiar with the space Studio B here in Corpus Christi, Texas, for all my listeners who are listening in Corpus Christi, Texas, you know exactly who I'm talking about. I would like to welcome to the HFWB Podcast Series my newfound friend, the lovely Miss Lulu Chavez, to the HFWB Podcast Series. Lulu, how are you doing on this motivational Monday morning?
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much for that introduction, Clifton. I'm so happy to be here. I'm super honored that you invited me here. We have, Jane as a mutual friend that has talked
Yes.
so good about you. So I'm so excited.
Special shout out to Jane as well. And for those who want to know a little bit more about Jane, you definitely need to go listen to the podcast episode I did with her. I believe it's episode 90 and 91, as we had a great two-part conversation within our own right. But overall, Lulu, for everyone who wants to know who you are as an exact individual, how would you best describe it? Because most people don't know your background story and how it all started. A lot of people don't know that your original hometown is literally called cerralvo Nueva Leon, which is a little town in the Mexico area. Kind of describe like your upbringing within that area and what led you to the coastal bend as far as just to begin your own overall health journey.
Awesome. Yes, for sure. So I was born in Monterrey, Nuevo Leon, Mexico, which is it's a big city.
Mm-hmm.
My parents moved around a lot, and my grandpa actually is from Cerralvo, Nuevo Leon, which is this little tiny town in Nuevo Leon, which is about an hour away from Monterrey, and so my parents decided that they didn't want to do the, like the 9 to 5 jobs anymore. So they decided to come to the family business in Cerralvo, and they built a home. And that's where me and my brother grew up from when I was about 8 to 15 years old. So that's why I say that I'm from there, because that's where our house is at. Like whenever I go to Mexico, that's where I go.
Mm-hmm.
And my formative years as, like as a child, I spend it there. So that's why I say that I'm from there. And my whole family, like I go back to that. My grandparents are still alive. So that's why I say I'm from there. From there, when I was 15, we moved around a lot. And when I was 19, but like within Mexico, we went to the center of Mexico and stuff. When I was 19, my parents sent me to Canada, to a little town in Canada called Guelph, Ontario. And Ontario is the province. And so I went studying English at the beginning, it was like for less than 6 months. And then I went back to study college. They're like an associate's degree for fashion marketing and merchandising, which has nothing to do with what I do now.
It always happens like that. You start off in one particular lane and then you wind up pivoting because you realize that it wasn't for you, and then you find like this newfound passion that just draws you there, and you just follow your intuition and just trust you just follow your heart more so than anything.
Exactly. So back then, a lot of people ask me why Canada, because at that time it was way cheaper than to come to the US. Like the Mexican peso and the Canadian dollar was was cheaper. So it was cheaper for me to go over there. And so I did that. Then my mom came to the US to work. She became a teacher here in South Texas, like in Mission, Texas. And so then when I finished my associates, I came to live with them because I was still, living at my parents' house. So I did that. A lot of things happened in my life, personally, but I started to sell insurance. I've always had a thing for health. I was always looking at, healthy things. Like around, I would say 2010, I started hearing about MSGs and like processed foods and stuff, but it was kind of like a thing in the background. It wasn't, social media was barely starting, like, things were starting, you were starting to hear things like about reading labels and about things that are not, ultra processed to watch out, so I started to hear that and making, decisions about my health. I lived in many cities in Texas. And then I ended up being in Houston. Okay. In Houston, I met my husband, Joey, and we lived there for a few years and then moved to Corpus because, because of his job.
Right.
Now, in this time, since we've been married, we've been together for 8 years now, I think. And then, 8 years, but married 7. So when I met him, so when we got married, we started to try to get pregnant. Okay. So then I had my first miscarriage in 2017. Then I had my second miscarriage in 2020. Yeah, before the pandemic. So then in this time from 2017 to 2020, I started researching because nobody could give me an answer of why I just couldn't get pregnant, right? So I started researching, and then I started finding out about chemicals. Like, I'm very big now on toxic chemicals and about not to use certain things like bleach and certain things that we smell and we touch and all that. So then I started researching. My life was very different before I started this journey than now. I remember that day when I researched, I stayed up until like 9 a.m. So I didn't sleep. And then Joey woke up that morning to see me with my eyes like, like I looked.
No, because it's like you were becoming more conscious of your own health, and you were wondering, wow, I was putting all of this in my body as far as eating it. I was putting all these particular skin products on me. I didn't realize how much chemicals were in like shampoo and conditioners as I washed my hair and everything. I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, you were up all night for a particular reason, Lulu.
Yes.
You had like that conscious decision to where it's like, okay, I need to get rid of all of these toxins out of my body, and I need to like cleanse myself, and I just need to hit the reset button, which is necessary. That way we can increase our chances of just overall healthier habits. So I commend you for that, for sure, Lulu.
So my poor Joey woke up to a Lulu that wasn't the Lulu that he knew before. Like I went nuts. So I definitely don't recommend this to anybody. Because I took everything out. It's crazy when you start taking things out of your house. Mm-hmm. You have I had a box that I literally took to Mexico to my grandma, and she's like, why are you bringing me all this stuff? Like I probably took her, I don't know, but it was like a big box. And then I changed all the cookware. I changed all the plastic. Like I took the plastic out of this house. It was crazy. It was crazy. I don't recommend it. Do it one at a time. Like go section by section, And then I started making my own soaps. So then I discovered the essential oil world. Mm-hmm. And but then I had to research too about what essential oils to use, because not all the same. Some, in the US, for you to call something pure essential oil, it only has to have 5% of the actual oil by the FDA. Okay. So what that means, when you go to big stores that have like all this like cheaper things.
Like the Walgreens and the CVS's and all that.
Or like the Marshalls and TJ Maxx and stuff. And you go and you have the essential oil and it says pure, organic, blah, 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 blah. And then you open it and it smells like perfume. It's not, it's not. And if you read the label, it says that you can't even apply it. You can't put it on your skin. Right. So I couldn't use that because I was going to put it on my skin. So that took me to another world that I discovered that I didn't know about. Mm-hmm. So I started making my own soaps, not soaps, but like body wash. I started with the shampoo, but honestly, the shampoo, I just couldn't. I couldn't do it right, and I looked like I didn't look good. My hair didn't look good. So then. What else did I do? I did a bunch of things. Like at the beginning, I was Miss DIY. Then we reduced. Then by doing all of this, the garbage consumed that we produced in the house, it reduced to, let's say, three bags a week. It went down to like 1 bag a week. Because we weren't using that much things to produce garbage. We weren't using that many bottles. Like I was reusing, the same bottle to make my cleaner or, whatever it may be. And now I only needed one cleaner instead of, all this stuff. So it was really cool to start that. That was the first thing that I did for my, toxic free lifestyle. And that was the first thing. Then in 2022, I started my yoga journey. Mm-hmm. I decided. So in all this time, we were here in Corpus from 2018 And then I started my, changing lifestyle in 2019. And then in 2022, I decided, hey, I don't know anybody here in Corpus, really. I had like 10 friends. And I was like, it's time to get out of this house. And I need to join a yoga studio because I really enjoyed doing yoga in the past. Also, we went on a trip and I was in an airplane, and I tried to, like when you put things under your seat, like in
Yeah.
and I tried to grab it and I couldn't reach it. And I was about to be 40. And that was the first thing of like, you're
Something needs to change here. I need to be able to bend down to where I can reach down and grab things again. And I need to get my flexibility and my mobility back in order.
Yeah. And it was really like mind blowing to me that I was 39 years old and I couldn't do that. So that was the first thing. I started to go to yoga classes. I went to, it's not longer open anymore, but they moved from Corpus, so sad, but from Akasha, that's where I started. Then my awesome mentor and teacher, Leah, in, what was it, 2023, so last year, she approached me and said, hey, I really think you should consider to do the yoga teacher training. And I said, I don't think so. Yeah, thank you. I don't think so because
I had my doubts about it for a moment if it was for me or not.
Yeah, but I couldn't do certain things that they could do. I was still on my journey. And like, it's going to be great. You're going to be able to implement your essential oils and your toxic-free lifestyle to this. It's going to be great. You should do it. This is why you do it. You don't have to be an expert, and you don't have to be bending like a pretzel to be able to be a yoga teacher. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So I've been at this point, I've been looking for yoga teachers to teach a specific yoga class that I wanted. I wanted a yoga class that will fit people like me at that time, or even now too. People like me that were beginners, that they were on a certain age, let's just say 35 to 50, and that they think that they can do it, or they are waiting to get in shape, or whatever the case may be, and the time is now. But this classes needed to be adjusted because not everybody can do everything, right? So I wanted a specific class. So I was like, okay, wait, well, maybe this is it. If nobody can provide the class that I want, then I'm gonna make it, right?
If you want something done, you have to do it yourself sometimes. I can relate.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, well, this is perfect timing. I'm gonna do it. So then I started that journey, but I never did it with the intent to really teach or to even quit my job, because at this time I've been working for State Farm for 11, 12 years. I've been selling insurance, for a long time. So anyway, I started the yoga journey. In January, we hit the ground running, starting teaching, promoting everywhere, being here and there, like networking events. I started to meet a lot of people. Then in April, I became a Pilates instructor as well. And then,
that's great.
Yeah, so I wanted to put those two together, and then we started teaching yoga. Well, Pilates was already been happening at Studio B, but not so much yoga, or at least not for the public in general, And then we brought it to Studio B, and it's been really cool to see and to be able to help people that didn't think that, I don't know, that sometimes when there's advertisings or things, you see all those girls that can do, especially like on Instagram, you see all those girls that are like on top of things, and they're doing like all this Pilates reformer poses, and you're like, oh no, I can't do that.
Yeah. And it's crazy within your journey, Lulu, how you were able to combine all of these things into one. It's kind of like, that's why I feel like our paths are so similar to a certain degree, because it's like with everything that I'm doing, I'm over here combining a little bit of everything and kind of taking bits and pieces as far as what I've learned, as far as like through yoga, through meditation, through overall fitness training, and then just combining it into this overall holistic practice. And I kind of did the same thing as far as just if you want something done, sometimes you got to create it a little bit yourself. So I give credit to all the people who've kind of like shown me a little bit bits and previews as far as allowing me to create the program that I have within myself. So it's like, I give you all the credit in the world for that within itself, as far as just, going on that journey necessary. Because one thing I personally got as far as out of the Pilates class that I did this past Friday, one thing that stood out to me, it's a lot of core strength, number one. It's a lot of stability, number two. But I do know this, that it'll help out with the posture. It'll help out with just more efficient and more graceful movement. Like whenever I went on like my long distance run, my 10-mile run, I felt like my whole entire lower body was more looser than it's ever been. And it was like, I ran 10 miles, Lulu. And for the fact that my legs weren't even as sore as I thought they were going to be from running 10 miles. And I give all the credit to Pilates as far as just being able to really stretch out areas that I didn't even think were even possible to stretch out. I'm over here stretching out parts of my lower body as far as like certain muscle areas that I didn't even realize were possible to stretch. It's like, kind of explain to people, Lulu, as far as like how they could benefit from Pilates, as far as from like the mind-body connection, the mental health, the flexibility, and kind of break down a little bit of the history as far as of how Pilates even originated. Because a lot of people don't know that it's been around for quite some time, since like the World War I era. I mean, you were telling me about the gentleman Joseph Pilates, who kind of developed it to kind of improve his own physical health, with him being like a sickly child at the time. Kind of break that down for everybody who's currently listening to this episode of the HFWB Podcast Series.
Of course. So basically, Pilates was invented, and I don't want to forget something really quick, but I'll mention it. Just remind me to mention how Pilates changes your body, because it.
Yeah. I got you.
So Joseph Pilates invented the modality, the Pilates reformer. So a lot of people get confused because there's mat Pilates as well, but that came after. I mean, the reformer Pilates is how Pilates got invented. And basically it was made to rehab wounded soldiers or veterans. And since they couldn't get out of bed, he brought them back to them, right? And Pilates is all about, I'm glad that you mentioned about the whole mind body, connection, because, in yoga, we talk about the awareness, and to, bring yoga means to yoke and to unite, the consciousness to the universal consciousness, the mind and body. But in Pilates, we do that too, even though we don't do it as, as the yoga, obviously, but in Pilates, you have to be focused, If you lose the focus, you lose the glute and you lose the engagement on the core,
Oh, yeah.
And Mariah McQueen, which is the owner of Studio B, and I consider her my mentor as well. In the Pilates world, she's amazing. And she says something about, don't be just moving ligaments, like you have to focus so you can work the muscle. It's not just to move. It's not moving just to move. It's
synchronization of your mind and your body more so than anything. It's like you have this countdown in your head, and it's like you're counting the amount of seconds that you're breathing in and then breathing out slowly. And in between holding your breath just for like maybe 3 seconds minimum, and just, it's a lot, like you're alluding to, it's a lot of breath work. It's a lot of it's personal growth is kind of what I got out of it more so than anything, because it really helped establish more resilience that I already had within me. It really helps address a little bit of weaknesses, and it helps enhances your overall strengths. That's my overall take. What I got from Pilates is the moment I finished your class, Lulu, to the point where I was like, okay, I could see myself implementing this at least once a month, if not every other week, just to add it's kind of like combining like light lower body core movement with yoga all together as one. It's It's a real interesting experience. I will say that for everybody listening to the HFWB podcast series.
I would say that I agree with you, and also that the reformer is dear to me now, just because you're able to move in a different way that you would in the mat, because when you're on the mat doing the same type of movement, let's just say, open your legs wide, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
You're on the mat, you're feeling every single thing on the mat, like on your back, and then you have to hold, but when you have the straps, then it's easier to open, and to.
Yeah, it's easy to maneuver your core and your lower body as long as you're in tune with the breath.
That's exactly. So it's amazing also to, Pilates really shapes you up in a different way. I would say, that one session a week is awesome. 2 is amazing. And I mean, really good. And 3, it's like, wow, like it would be
like a transformation.
But now, if you're already doing everything else, like a lot of other things, and you come from once a week, you will see that it will enhance, kind of like what you're saying with the running. Runners come to our studio because, if you come to Pilates, it helps you reinforce those muscles to prevent injuries, and we have in the studio, Mariah has been doing this for a while. I believe she was the first Pilates studio in Corpus Christi, like 15, 20 years ago.
Wow. And pioneer at it.
Yeah. And you need to meet her. She's really cool. So anyway, that now these people that have been coming to the studio for 15 years, they're now like in their 80s, and they're doing amazing. Like they don't, there's no falling, no falls, no hip replacements, no knee replacements. I mean, they're doing really, really good. So I would say that if you're a person, like, for example, me, if you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, and you want to try something new, I would definitely encourage you to come to Pilates, because besides, what workout can you do then you're laying down, like nothing?
Yeah. And as you're alluded to, Lulu, there's literally, like, when I was in her class, for everyone who's listening to the HFWB podcast series, this is an exclusive. I was in the class with a woman who was literally 72 years old, didn't look the age at all, and she was doing the moves just as effectively as I was doing. And I'm over here like, wow, you're 72 years old and you're doing all of this. So that's inspiring, empowering, and uplifting within itself, because as Lulu attested to, and to kind of summarize this Pilates discussion, basically, you're going to get the most comprehensive, holistic approach to fitness that you could ever imagine, that supports long-lasting, healthy habits. I mean, you're integrating your mind, you're integrating the body as one, and you're developing more strength. You're improving your flexibility. It enhances your mental well-being, and it's literally laying the foundation for a balanced and healthy lifestyle. You cannot go wrong with that, which is why I definitely suggest everybody to try Pilates at least once. That way, you could at least experience this groundbreaking transformation within itself. And again, as Lulu said, I mean, if you can do it, once a week, twice a week, even better. That way, you always can find room for improvement, learn from your mistakes, and just continue to grow through what you go through, as I like to say. For anybody in particular, Lulu, who is having trouble just maintaining that balance and healthy lifestyle that we both are striving at more so than anything, what would be 3 key pieces of advice you would give to someone trying to encourage healthier habits with a holistic approach?
Number 1, don't wait until you lose a weight or you get fit or whatever the case may be. The time is now. If you're thinking about it, do it. There's no waiting. There's no time to waste. Let's just do it. That would be the number 1. A lot of people get discouraged about that. And I would say, don't get discouraged. I'm the perfect example of the you shouldn't wait. And I didn't wait. And, I'm doing a lot better than I was 2 years ago, and people can see it. That would be number one. Don't wait. Number two would be get in touch with people that maybe a group of people that maybe you do it together with, or I would say community and support. That would be a number two. Now if your community and support are being negative, I would say get out of that and like come call Clifton or me, Jane, Ree, everybody in our network, and we'll become your community, because I believe that's very important. And number three would be I call it to remove toxins from your life. I do believe that what we eat, we are what we eat too. So I would say, start making better decisions, maybe not go all in, but at least, remove certain habits that you have. Like, for example, maybe, remove the fast food or reduce it. I would be like taking a look at that.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I love that. Those are all wonderful tips on how we can definitely improve our overall lifestyle day by day, step by step, for sure. Now, Lulu, we're actually at the point where I'm going to basically ask you a list of questions that I basically ask everybody who come on to the podcast, just so that people can know you a little bit more in exact details. My first question is this: what is the first thing you do or think of every single day that you wake up, every single morning?
That I'm grateful that today is going to be a great day.
You can't go wrong with practicing gratitude. I always like to say, be grateful for the big things, small things, and everything in between. My next question is this, Lulu. When it comes to the term health is wealth, you can't really have one without the other. They're kind of both two sides of the coin. In your personal definition, what does health and wealth mean to you?
That's great. That's great. I always, on most of my social media posts, I put health is wealth, because you can't buy health. You gotta, start from within, and it's from inside out, I would say. So that what it means to me is to be not sick and to be, healthy from the inside out. I hope I answered your question.
No, that's basically the best way you could summarize it within itself, Lulu. I totally agree with that. When you think of the word community, what's the first thing that comes to mind for yourself?
Community.
Yes.
The first thing that comes to my mind, it would be my yoga tribe. I'm very blessed to have Leah Murray on, as a mentor and a guide. If it wasn't for her, I couldn't be here today. I mean, she really, really encouraged me. And I would say that too, like when I talked about like the three things, and one was community. Get somebody that really believes in you and cheers you on. Because sometimes I think the main thing is that we don't believe in ourselves, and we have all this negative self-talk. So sometimes you need a cheerleader. And for me, it definitely has been Leah. So I would say community, my Divine Moon yoga community.
Can't go wrong with that at all. And shout out to Miss Leah Marie as well. She's definitely a wonderful ball of spirit, without question, from the first introduction that you gave to me of her this past Friday after the Pilates class and stuff. We're actually going to make a little transition, Lulu, into a little bit of either or, as far as me asking which one you would choose out of the other. The first one is this: loyalty or respect?
Ooh. Loyalty.
Would you rather live in space or live in the ocean?
Ocean.
Would you rather be famous and poor or anonymous and rich?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to be poor.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
I don't know. Can I have both? I would say I don't want to be poor though, but I don't want to be anonymous either. I don't know. I would say famous and poor, I guess. I don't know, but I don't want to be poor.
It's fine. It's fine. Would you rather have unlimited free meals at your favorite restaurant or unlimited first class tickets?
Oh, unlimited class tickets.
Nothing wrong with that. Would you rather sing to every song or dance to every song?
Oh, dance.
Now, picture this scenario, Lulu. You're on an island, it's deserted, you're trapped on it, but you have the option to listen to five of your favorite music artists of all time. It could be their whole entire catalog of music, and no matter what genre it is, who are those five music artists?
Oh boy. It's so random. It would be you two, Earth, Wind and Fire, the Beatles. They have three. In Spanish, I would say Timbiriche and Enanitos Verdes, I think.
You can't go wrong with that well diverse playlist for sure. What is your favorite go to meal, Lulu?
I would say quesadilla, like quesadilla with maybe chicken inside.
Can't go wrong with a chicken quesadilla.
First
Where's
here all the time.
Where's the favorite place that you've traveled to thus far, Lulu? And where's a place you would like to travel to that you haven't been to before?
Well, that I have traveled so
Yes.
far, it would be Hawaii.
Mm.
Hawaii is really cool.
You're not the first person
I
who
want to
said
go back. I definitely want to go back. And that I want to go to, I really want to go to Iceland. I want to see the Northern Lights.
Okay. Can't go wrong with that. Now, Lulu, you're probably one of the most productive people that I've recently met who's literally all over the place in a good way, in a great way, as a matter of fact. What are some of your favorite hobbies that you like to do that many people may not know you like to do whenever you have some downtime?
Scrapbooking. I love scrapbooking. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, it's like when you're putting pictures together in a book, right?
Yes, yes.
No, that's actually a lost art within its own self. There's not a lot of people who do that. And that just goes to show you that you cherish those memories and that you're grateful. Again, as you alluded to, practicing gratitude from earlier, as far as within every experience you go through, no matter how good or bad it may seem. That's the way I look at that. So I think we should all do more scrapbooking and bring that back as we close out 2024, going into 2025 and beyond for sure. My last question is this, Lulu, as we wrap everything up. Picture yourself having the opportunity to go back in time 10 years ago. What would you tell yourself? And at the same time, where do you see yourself based on your current journey within the next 10 years?
10 years ago, I would say don't be afraid and start the things that you're going to be able to do it. Yeah, like, your body can do it. You can do it. Start your healthy. I wish, I've always done exercise, but not like the way I do now. So, because I was afraid. So I would say, don't be afraid. And in the future, I would say to trust my gut, like I'm right and I know where I'm going, and just trust the process.
Hey, you can't, that's all you can do is just hope for the best, be ready for anything, expect the worst case scenario, and everything will eventually balance itself out for sure, Lulu. I completely agree with that. Where can people get in contact with you? How can they reach you as far as just, if they want to schedule a Pilates class with you, do some yoga with you? How can people get in contact with you, Lulu?
All right. So you can follow me on social media. On Instagram is Lulu Chavez. And on Facebook, you can find me as well, Lulu Chavez on Facebook. And also, social media would be the place to go. If you want to book any appointments, also follow us on divinemoonyoga.com. Divine Moon Yoga on Facebook and social media, Pilates Studio B. That would be another thing that you can follow. And you can always go to the website, divinemoonyoga.com, and you can book your classes there. And now for all your listeners, I will definitely, to the local ones, I will throw in, if you're new to the studio and you want to try it out, we would give you a free session. So definitely contact me on social media, send me a message, and I will give you a code so you can go book.
Yes, and definitely take advantage of that code as well. That's how I was able to take advantage of Pilates class, and I guarantee you that you won't be disappointed within that experience for sure. Lulu, this was a great conversation just as far as just helping to empower, uplift, and inspire people towards healthier habits with a holistic approach. And I just thank you for making time out of your productive schedule to simply bless us with an appearance on the HFWB Podcast Series. This was definitely very informative for sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you to all for listening. And remember, don't wait for tomorrow. The time is now.
Yes, indeed. And with that being said, this is your host, Clifton Pope of the HFWB Podcast Series, encouraging everyone to stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed. And until next time, peace and love, y'all. What's going on, everybody? It's yours truly, Clifton Pope with Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and you're tuned into a very special edition of the HFWB Podcast Series, and it's being brought to you by my new book that just released on Amazon.com, October 30th, 2024, Consistency with a Sense of Urgency. And this is basically the trilogy to my first two self-help books, What's Wealth Without Work and A Dollar and a Vision, which are both also on Amazon as we speak. And basically, Consistency with a Sense of Urgency is all about how to overcome the lack of consistency and the truth on what is stopping you from putting in the work to create your own formula to success. We've all been there before, which is why I'm trying to help expose the cracks on where everyone is at when it comes to people who are having hard times staying the course. Consistency with a Sense of Urgency. This book is for those who truly want to stay after it in what they love and what they stand for by cracking the code on how to remain ready by staying steady so you can even out the odds against you, right? This book will break down how to decide what is important and urgent in your own life at this very moment. The sense of urgency is on because time is money, or is it really? Consistency with a Sense of Urgency will focus on all the information, knowledge, and secrets of yours truly, Clifton Pope, and how you can complete your mission to discover your sense of purpose in the world we live in. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? Which is why I say we are all here for a reason. And Consistency with a Sense of Urgency will help you discover that for anyone who needs a personal guide on how to do so. This is the book for those who are finally ready to quit making excuses and tackle your goals and or to-do list once and for all, so growth, improvement, and evolution can take the course in your world for the greater good. So just like that, y'all need to hop on Amazon.com right here, right now, as we speak. Go order Consistency with a Sense of Urgency, my newest self-help book that I have personally self-published myself. Shout out to Amazon.com for that opportunity. Y'all stop what you're doing. Go buy Consistency with a Sense of Urgency. That way we can continue to remain consistent with a sense of urgency like never before. This is yours truly, Clifton Pope of Health, Fitness, Wealth, Business, and I approve this message. And go buy Consistency with a Sense of Urgency right here, right now. Let's make it an Amazon bestseller, a New York's bestseller, because this book is just for you. Let's remain consistent with a sense of urgency, y'all. Stay healthy, wealthy, blessed. Peace and love.